Good morning, everybody. I'm really glad you're all here. Last time we were together, we talked about friendship because we're in a series called The New Normal, and we're talking about timeless principles for fulfilling relationships in the midst of a changing world. Last week, like I said, we heard about friendship, and this week we're going to move on down the line. As you see on the side there, we're going to talk about singleness. In our culture, the term singleness has come to mean a few different things, and so I decided to look up definitions that people put on a website where you can put a definition for anything you want, and that is Urban Dictionary. And so I found a few different definitions, and the first one I think is in the minority, but let's see what they have to say about singleness. And they say it's to feel like a bird in the sky. That was the whole definition. They think singleness is freedom. They think it's the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and you don't have any restrictions. And I think Paul would like this definition a bit, in Corinthians 7, we're going to get there a little bit later, but he says, be single if you can. And I think he would like this definition. But I think this definition is in the minority. The next definition, I think, sort of sums up what most people feel about singleness. So let's see what that is. A little long. When you are currently not in a relationship with a significant other. So pretty objective to start off with, very basic. But then they move on and they reveal their true feelings. It says, it usually does not bother you, but the problems start when selfish and inconsiderate a-holes rub in the fact that they have someone and start saying they love their oh-so-sexy boyfriends or girlfriends and start going on and on about what he or she does for them, can do, and blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares how great he or she is to you. If you're taken and love your partner a lot, then good for you. But for goodness sakes, at least show some consideration for single people. Some of these people may even be heartbroken ones who have been abused by past partners, or just simply some that are sick of hearing about some stupid, narrow-sighted people who only see either how hot their partner is or how much money he or she has. Talk about your partner if you want to, but just calm down about it. Your life does not revolve around him or her, so don't act like it. So like I said, they start off pretty objective. It's just someone who doesn't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or a wife or husband. But then we start to see their true feelings on it. They show us that a lot of people think it is less desirable to be single than it is to have a significant other. As we see here, they're irritable just hearing about other people's relationships. And I want to ask, why do we feel this way? Another alarming part of our culture that we see is Single Awareness Day. Do you guys know what this is? Earlier this month, there's a day called Valentine's Day. And some people have rebranded this day Single Awareness Day, which is, like it says here, a holiday made to satirically celebrate everyone who is single on Valentine's Day. And for a lot of people, this is the most depressing day of the year. It sounds funny at first, but during that time period a couple weeks ago, I was sort of laughing about the whole Single Awareness Day, but then I started to hear there are girls in the dorms who are actually sitting there sad. They're crying in the dorms because they don't have dates. And at first you're like, oh, that's hilarious. These people are just dumb. Why are they so focused on this, right? That's sort of what it feels like. But then you realize these people are really suffering from something. If they're sitting there in their rooms alone crying because they don't have a date, there's a bigger problem than just they don't have a date, right? There's a bigger problem underneath. And so I want to delve into why it is we hate singleness so much. What is it that is so wrong with being alone for us? I would say it's a matter of perspective. We need to consider what it is about singleness that is good, what's bad, and why do we hate it so much. So let's see some things here. We often find our worth in what others think of us. This is a prevalent thing that we see in society. We talked about this with friendship in the last sermon. We worry about what other people think of us. We often feel a lack of self-worth when people don't want to be in relationship with us. We derive our personal value from whether someone wants to be in a relationship with us or not. And so oftentimes we seek after having a significant other, we seek after having a boyfriend or girlfriend just to prove to ourselves and to prove to others that we do have worth. But this also implies something else. If you don't have a significant other, does that mean you lack value? Does that mean you are not worth anything? And then without a significant other, many people really feel lonely, or they feel a lack of fulfillment. So we're going to come back to these concerns, these reasons for hating singleness in just a minute. We're going to first talk about some of the benefits of being single, because there are benefits. So we're going to look at 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 32 through 35. Paul here is advocating for singleness. He says, "I want you to be free from the concerns of this life. An unmarried man can spend his time doing the Lord's work and thinking how to please him. But a married man has to think about his earthly responsibilities and how to please his wife. His interests are divided. In the same way, a woman who is no longer married or has never been married can be devoted to the Lord and holy in body and in spirit. But a married woman has to think about her earthly responsibilities and how to please her husband. I'm saying this for your benefit, not to place restrictions on you. I want you to do whatever will help you serve the Lord best, with as few distractions as possible." So Paul emphasizes here that when we are in a relationship, we have less time. We don't have as much time to devote to the Lord. He says he wants us to be free from the concerns of this life. He wants us to be able to focus wholly on the Lord, as Paul says he does. Having a significant other divides our attentions. He says we have earthly responsibilities when we're married. We have to please our wife. We have to please our husband. And when we have those responsibilities, it takes away time that we could be spending on pleasing God and working on our relationship with God. Paul also emphasizes a few other things a little bit more subtly. We can devote ourselves more fully to the things that matter to us when we're single, like our relationship with God, like being better friends to those around us. Just like being a better friend, having a better relationship with God, we can be a better friend to those around us when we're single, because we have more time. Have you guys ever noticed that when one of your close friends gets a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you slowly start to see them less and less? It's like they don't exist anymore. There was a guy on my floor my freshman year, one of my best friends. We went snowboarding all the time. And he started to like a girl. He was a sophomore. And so they started hanging out, and they started instant messaging all the time. And they were always texting and always in communication. And slowly, I started to see less and less of him. And even when I did see him, it was behind his laptop, typing to this girl. And it was kind of sad, but now they're getting married, so it's okay. I'm glad that it happened. But when we start to get in relationships, like a significant other sort of relationship, we have less time to devote to things in our lives that we care about. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about how we can handle being single. We see that there are benefits to being single. We have more time. We can focus on our relationship with God more. And so we're going to watch a video one person made that talks about how she handles being single and how we can also handle being single.